Hi, I'm Alexandra,
And I'm Brenda.
and we're going to interview Mr. Ramirez for our oral history presentation, and we're group 6.
So tell me about yourself and your family.
Well, I am Eduardo Ramirez. I'm currently a lecturer at the University of Texas Rio Grande Valley. I'm also a dual enrollment instructor for TSC with Valley Christian High School, and I am 25 years old. I come from a family of 5, 2 brothers, myself will make 3, and my father and my mom. My father is Dr. Jesus Ramirez, and my mom is Delma Martinez. Both my parents met when they were in med school. My father studied all his career starting from high school here in the U.S. He went to the University of Austin to study criminal justice and biology because he wanted to study medicine here in the U.S. But he ended up going back to Mexico because it was cheaper, and that's where he went. My mom studied in Mexico in a rancho or in a ranch. My mom comes from a poor side of like Mexico, and my dad was like from like high to rich part of Mexico. So my mom did not have the same opportunities as my dad, but she, through all the struggles she went through, like she wanted to succeed and be something, and she loved medicine, so she started studying medicine. That's when they met my dad, and actually my dad and my mom, they help each other because my dad's like super smart, like he's a genius, and my mom is also a genius, but she doesn't put that much effort like my dad. My dad was like study, like they will go on dates instead of going on dates, they will go study. Like I was their date. So, and that's how my mom fell in love, and they married when my dad was 30 and my mom was 25 after they graduated from med school. And I was born when my mom was 33, so that will make it 7 years later. My brother, his name is Jesus Ramirez, and he studied in Colegio Mexico, his elementary school, middle school in Colegio Bernal Rendon, both in Mexico, and then high school, and last year of middle school, he came to the U.S. His last year of middle school was in Carnivore Academy, and his high school was at Valley Christian High School. He also graduated from UTB, the legacy school from UTRGV, and he actually had a minor in criminal justice, and he did in biology because he also wants to study medicine, and he ended up going back to Mexico because it's cheaper. But he did good in his MCAT exam. It's just that it's cheaper in Mexico. And since my dad also works in the med school over there, he gets it for free because my dad works on the school. So that's why he decided to go back because it was free. And my sister also studied the same schools as my brother, except that instead of her going to Juan Rendon for middle school, she went directly to Carnivore. And she also went to Valley Christian High School, where she actually, fun fact, I don't know if this should be added, but she's one of Jordi Lopez's close friends, my sister. And I myself, I went to Colegio Mexico for kinder all the way to 4th grade. And then I went to Juan Rendon from 5th to 6th grade. And then middle school, I came here to the U.S. for 7th and 8th grade.
What school?
And in Carnivore Academy. And for high school, went to Valley Christian High School, where I met Mr. Lopez and my best friend who is going to get married. And that's the history of my family tree. My dad is, I believe, third college. No, I believe he's third generation going to college. My mom is first, and that will make me second from my mom's side and fourth from my dad's side. So I'm technically both. So.
And what do you like to do on your free time when you're not here at the university?
I like to listen to a lot of Japanese songs, and I study a lot on my own Japanese. I study by myself Japanese because I really enjoy the language. It's fun, and I also research. I do a lot of research in adoption in my free time because one of my goals that I want to do is a dream, but also it's going to be a goal because everyone can dream but not make a goal. It's to adopt from China at least 2 girls. Because of the 1-child policy. Now it's 2-child policy, but still a lot of girls in China suffer a lot of, they kill them or they're in orphanages because in China, it is believed they have the rule like if you're a man and you marry, you still take care of your family. But if you're a woman, once you marry to someone, you marry their family, you don't have to take care of the family. So for them, like they want to be taken care of because they're so poor that they want the kids to look after them, even though they will be in the streets. And girls in China, if you're in an orphanage, at the age of 14, they're considered already adults, so they get out of the orphanage. And a lot of people that do sex trafficking, they take advantage of that. So that's why I really want to, help those girls, and be a father, even if I'm single. Yeah, that's the
I
thing.
mean, there's no problem with that, but like you're saving two little girls' lives. You're making them better.
Hopefully,
So our next question would be like, how did you end up where you are now, like here working as a professor?
Well, I was first going to follow my dad's tradition. My mom always wanted to be a doctor because I enjoy medicine, and I always talked to my mom about it when I was a little kid about medicine. Even after they divorced in 2000, and my dad left us, and I was with my mom. My mom took care of all three of us. I always enjoyed medicine. Like, she will always talk to us about things, and for example, when I was going into my puberty, she said, like, I don't want you to learn about with friends. They don't know anything. Like, learn from me. So she will taught me everything that I know of. Because she said, like, you don't have to be, scared about talking about, things about sex and stuff, because it's part of the human body, and a lot of people see it as a taboo. But like, just be informed. It's not about knowing just to to be telling your friends. I know it's not. It's for you to know and be secure about diseases and what to do. If you're encountered with a situation, like, just keep it safe. So I ended up being like that because I enjoy medicine. I really, really, really enjoy it. So ever since I was a kid, I was like, I'm going to be a cardiologist. That was my dream. I'm going to be a cardiologist. But as I transitioned in life, the events of my parents' divorce led me to me having a lot of anger and hatred towards life, and especially towards my dad, because I learned all the bad things that he did to my mom. Like, my mom really suffered like a lot of abuse, and that led to me to have a lot of anger. So my dream of being a doctor became more like, oh yeah, I want to become a doctor so I can have money, so I can, one day, have the money and the power to take everything from my dad and just, make him suffer. Because I'll always think as a kid, it's like, you don't kill someone that you hate, you just make them suffer. Because if they suffer, that's worse than death, because if you kill them, they're just already dead. But if you make them suffer, it's like, yeah, you suffer. And I know that's super bad to think for a 12 or 14-year-old guy. It's crazy. Yeah, my mom used to say that I have eyes of a psycho. It's a joke. But when I went to high school, I met this man who is the principal of Valley Christian High School, who passed away on April 9 of 2011. And he was such a sweet man, and like, he had God, and he was really patient. And my life changed when I was just still normal, being a weird, but my life changed when I met my best friend. My best friend, his name is Aaron Millan, and now he's currently going to get married. Yeah, just remembering it makes me want to cry. Yeah. And at first I thought he was stupid because people would make fun of him and he would not defend himself. But he was the first man who just asked me, like, how I was, and I don't know how to describe it, but the first conversation we had, he was like, "How's your dad?" And I was like, "Oh, he's dead." And he said like, "Oh, I'm sorry, man. I said that," and I felt so terrible saying that because my dad was actually alive. But I told him, like, to me he was dead. He was like, instead of like being like, "Oh, he's weird," he was like, "It's okay, man. Like, what's wrong? Like, let's talk. Like, why you say that?" Like, instead of like judging me of like why I was always angry or why I say something weird, he approached me just asking me like, why, like, let me hear you out. He was the first person who ever I felt was there to hear me out.
Like, he understood you.
He didn't understand me, but he wanted to hear me out. And my life changed. I started to see like what, how vengeance and how hatred pollutes your soul. Like, it blackens your eyes, your vision. Like, if you put more vision into like, oh, I don't want to be like that person, you end up becoming more into that person because you put your time in front of that. And God used my friend to help me see that. So I became safe, and I forgave my dad, and I let go of my anger and all my hatred that I felt towards my dad. He doesn't deserve, because he did a lot of bad things. He doesn't deserve that, but God forgave us. So if He can forgive me, I'm also able to forgive. So I was able to let go of that pain. So how does that lead to me being math? Well, because I always wanted to be a doctor, I saw that the root of being a doctor became more of like anger and hatred. And I was like, I don't want that to be my legacy. I don't want that to be like, oh, what's the reason why? And go back and be like, the root of it was anger. But no, I don't want that. But I still love medicine, so I was like in the struggle of it. So when I got into college, I still chose a degree of, I chose biology before there was no biomedical. It was the next year when it started like to be like implemented in UTB, when it separated from UTB TSC. And I was like, well, let's see, like I still want to do it. So I was trying my options, and I took Calculus 1 because it's required for biology. And then my second semester I took Calculus 2 for fun. So taking Calculus, I know sounds weird, Calculus 2 for fun.
Calculus 2 for fun?
Yes.
That's the hardest one.
Yes. I took Calculus 2 for fun, and that's where I took this professor. His name is Jose Vera, one of the Veras. They're all the names start with Jose, and the second name is the one that changes, but his last name is Vera. He was a skinny guy, and
I think I know who you're talking. He has a brother.
Yeah.
JR.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but I know him. I know the brother, JR.
Yeah, no, not the cute one, the flaquito.
Yeah.
The flaquito, yeah, because his brother. We used to work together, and all the girls would come and be like, "Hey, it's Jose Vera." It's like, who? The first time I met, we talk about. I know this is a little bit out of our topic, but we were like, the girl would come and be like, "Is Jose here?" I was like, "Who?" "Oh, the cute tutor." And I was like, "Oh, okay." I was like, "No, I'll give it back in like an hour." She's like, "Oh, okay."
Yeah.
So now going back on there, he helped me see a lot of like, hey, like you're good at math, you should do math. So I was like, I've never been good. I was never bad at math. I was never bad at math. I was just, I don't want to sound like cocky or anything. I was just good at it. Like it was not my thing, but why you guys don't see like the simple things in math? Like it's simple. Like I'm kind of like this guy, like sees stuff, like connects stuff. I really like to connect everything. So that's how I ended up being in math. I ended up being in math because I realized I like it. I actually did take some teaching courses, and I realized that, no offense whoever sees the video, if they hear my transcript, I don't like the public system. I don't like everything's based on a test. I really hated that, and I was just like, man, I found something I like. Like I hate this, and then Jose Vera was like, hey, that start with a master's, you can teach in college. And I realized as I was at GTA and a tutor, I like college. I don't like the public system. I don't like it. I honestly don't like it. And I realized, what? My mom's a doctor. My mom's a doctor. My dad's a doctor. My brother's studying to be a doctor. My sister is now a nurse. I'm like, I'm breaking the tradition here. So if my dad can be a doctor and my mom can be a doctor, I can be a doctor in math. Like, what's stopping me? I'm that type of person that's like, if they can, I can. What's stopping me? It's just limits are meant to be broken.
Yeah.
Limits are illusions, because we're like, oh, I can't. You already limited yourself. You have to go. It's like, I can't get a PhD. I mean, it's hard. I'm not saying it's easy. It's hard, but the most amazing things in life are hard.
Yeah.
They're the ones that you fought with. They're worth it.
Yeah.
So, for example, if when I get married, I don't want it to be easy. I want it to be hard. And I regret asking God that when I was in high school. I asked him like, hey, like I would like to struggle. I kind of regret it. but it's fun. But it's fun. No, I kind of regret it, but I had fun. I like the challenge. I really like to be challenged.
So going back to what you said about public schools, that we have to do like standardized testing, how would you compare that to like going to school in Mexico? Like, do you guys have to do that? Or like what are the biggest differences that you notice?
The big things that I notice is like here in the U.S. and also for my cousin who lives with me, who goes to independent schools here, they don't seem to know everything. He has explained to me, and also friends who work in independent studies, which I'm not going to mention names. Then mention me how they are really here in the U.S. First I'm talking, they're really limited on what they had to do because they had to follow what the principal does. In every school you had to do that, right? Like even in college. But in the best school, it's like, oh, I cannot do that because I'm required to do this. For example, they start using calculators too young. They don't know how to add fractions without calculators, which is just surprised me. Here in college, people arrive without even knowing how to add 1/2 plus 1/3. It's crazy. And in Mexico, it's way different. I'm not saying like it's like a first world country because it's not yet, which I believe maybe it is, but I don't know. But in Mexico, they don't let you use calculators. A lot of what I see a lot over there is more like they're more attentive of like what you know, like what are you getting out of this? Because teachers over there, like they get paid less, but what I remember from studying over there is like they actually do teach you something. It's not all about tests because yeah, we have like some tests that are from the government, but your grade is not based on that. The fund the school gets is not based on that. The grades you get are because of what you did, what you learned. And over there, it's kind of like they have more freedom, like in the sense of like they can go a little bit off route, but going back to like the curriculum that they're given. It's not always like, oh, we need to start with the start test, or we have this, or have that. It's more like, yes, you have to follow curriculum, but you can do it kind of like in college, your own way. So that's what the difference is that I see. Like, and Mexico doesn't. What I've seen so far in math, related to math, they're more advanced. By the end of high school, they're seeing calculus 2. And Mexico, they see all the way to integral calculus.
That's crazy.
And students who come from Mexico, actually, a lot of them, because the grade doesn't go, sometimes have to take pre-cal and calculus when they're like, I already know this. Because I met people like that. So in Mexico, they're more advanced in math than over here. Over here, it's like way behind because you start calculus in college, and over there you're already seeing in high school. Kind of like in Russia. My one of my professors also share that, like also in Russia, they see calculus like in high school. And college algebra, a lot of college algebra topics, I saw that in my high school actually, because my high school is a private high school. It's not like with the public system, so we don't have the STAR test and stuff. So I actually saw a lot of like material from college algebra during high school. So I was always one year ahead in math. I was always 1 year ahead. Because in middle school I took already algebra 2, now I'm in algebra 1. And in the curriculum, you start that in freshman. I started my geometry class because my high school, they do geometry in sophomore, not in junior.
Mm-hmm.
So I started my freshman year geometry with Mr. Lopez. So I believe the difference is like they're more advanced, and they do care about like, because over there in Mexico, the engineers are like the number one, like the number 2 job, the number 1 top job everyone wants is like medicine. Like my dad said and my mom. If medicine is not for you, like if you don't enjoy it, don't do it. You're going to fail. So since engineering is really important in Mexico because of like the job, a lot of jobs are from engineering. They want the students to know math. They need to know math. So I see that's a big difference with the U.S. and over in Mexico.
In your transition, like when you came, you said middle school, right?
Mm-hmm.
To middle school again or high school?
Middle school.
How was that?
Because in Mexico, 6th grade is still elementary. But here in the U.S., only in the U.S., because also in Japan, and I believe also in Spain, it's all the way to 6th grade, and the middle school is just 7 and 8. But in the U.S., 6 to 8.
Yeah.
6 to 8. So I was in the middle of middle school, so if you want to see that, the transition, they put me immediately to a special class, ESL, because I came from Mexico. And a quick topic that I didn't mention at the beginning is that I studied my one kinder year in Carnivore Academy, because since I'm from November of 1993, I was going to be held back because I was like, oh, he's from November. So my dad was like, you know what, that principal is crazy. I'm going to take you to the U.S. to study a year. And that's why my English got better, because I was studying in English. I didn't know how to say go to the restroom, so I will always wait until like going back to home. So I didn't know how to say go to the restroom. I was like, my dad was like, it's because my dad knows English, so he was like, can I go to the restroom? Until I never asked him, so I was like, oh man, like, it was so bad. I will come back with like, my mom will be like, how was it? I will run to the restroom. I was like, oh man, so bad. It was so bad. Now going back to the transition, I felt like I was too ahead of my courses because my ESL teacher was not the best. And during those times, we're pubescent, like rebellious, and like I shared before, I was not in my good terms, like, oh, I'm mad with the world, So I kind of felt like I was ahead, but sometimes, so I was kind of like, whatever. But I felt like they were here a little behind because a lot of stuff they were teaching me, I was like, I saw that like last year. Come on, guys, we were 7th grade. So I feel
Was it
like
a culture shock also for you or no?
no,
No, because we're
no, it's never been a culture. For me, it doesn't hit me like it never does. Like when I went to Japan, it never hit me. I was in Japan, so like when I came back, it hit me when I was here because I was so used to seeing Asians, and now when I came back, I was like, where are the Asians? Instead of being over there, like where's everyone? You know, it's I don't know. I'm weird. I'm just weird. Think of that. I'm different. Not weird. I'm different. There you go. I'm different.
So looking back at your academic career, would you change anything if you had the chance to?
No, I actually, the good and the bad of what has happened in my life and with my career, you know, I don't regret anything because everything that has happened to me has led me to be the man I am right now. I might be a guy with issues. Everyone has issues, you know, but I see things different, you know. For my career, you know, I wouldn't change anything. Why? Because being a doctor for me, because that was a career, is awesome. I love medicine. Like when I hear my mom and my sister, and my brother talking about it, I join them. Like I know a lot about medicine, even though I'm not a doctor, you know. And I wouldn't change that. Why? Because I love what I do. Like if now teaching as a lecturer in UTRGV, and also doing enrollment for TSC, when I look at myself and I think about being something else, I don't see it. Like I just see myself doing what I'm doing. Like I know I am where I belong and where God has called me to do, because I don't see myself doing anything else. You know, I can enjoy medicine. Yeah, you know, I can study it, but I enjoy math. Like math is my guilty pleasure. You want to say it? Yeah, and you know, I also like to read, so maybe that's a little bit extra. But no, I wouldn't change anything. Everything, I'm happy for of what has happened in my life. You know. My last semester, because I just graduated. I recently graduated from a master's. I did the 4+1 program. It was horrible. It was the worst semester I ever had in my college life. Girlfriend broke up with me. Just life went down like the last months. But yeah, my advisor and Dr. Garber should not say this. And we went out. They're good people. Yeah, they helped me out. Dr. McGill's is good. I have a picture with him. We have some pictures together.
Those names out.
yeah, we're gonna bleep those out. Just in case.
Just in case. I should not say that. I should not say that. I go, wow, we're professors. It's okay. Yeah, it's fine. Yeah, we're friends. Dr. Garber for me is like a dad. So, father and son. Yeah, I wouldn't change anything. I don't know if that answered the question.
Yes, it did.
Yeah? Okay, sorry.
Okay, what else do we need to
Would
ask?
you like to add anything to the interview?
Oh,
We
this
end it?
is this almost the end?
Yes.
Oh, wow. Do you have it now?
No. We need. Okay, I want to pause this because we talked